So today, this time I bring you something very new, something very special, unusually incredibly exclusive, very rich expensive, and with an extremely fun factor, a street legal hypercar racer with an F1 engine. The Mercedes AMG One, when prior was called the Project One. After a few years of delays entering production and genuine concerns for the project's future, Mercedes confirmed that the AMG One will finally commence production in 2022. Due to the ongoing COVID pandemic and the Merc engineers improving and resolving issues for the car, the AMG One has been pushed back from late 2021 to mid-2022 and is now in its final stages of development, just like its rival, the Aston Martin Valkyrie, and is expected to have some exterior changes as well. The AMG One is just one of the coolest looking hypercars ever built and the closest thing ever to come to an F1 car for the road. Speaking of F1, have one of you ever dreamed of driving a fast Formula One car on the streets, like anywhere, in any time, places like in an urban or suburban? Live out your dreams of becoming an F1 driver and feel the adrenaline behind the wheel of driving a really fast car around an F1 circuit. Well, that has now been resurrected from Mercedes making an F1 derived hyper sports car just to drive both on the racetracks and public roads. There were many special cars from the past that had F1 derived engines. While some retained mere prototypes, others ended up reaching production. Formula One is one of the best test benches for manufacturers when developing technologies that end up coming to street cars like BMW, Porsche, Honda, Mercedes, Ferrari, etc. And Mercedes has probably the best example with the AMG One, as it adapts the propulsion system that has made Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg F1 champions. The AMG One was first introduced back in 2017 as the concept version, aka the Project One, with nearly identical specifications to the production version. It was unveiled at the Frankfurt Motor Show. The idea of the AMG One began in 2016 when F1 entered the era of hybrids in 2014. Where Mercedes AMG Petronas F1 dominated 3 titles for the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, 1 for Nico Rosberg, and 4 constructor trumps for the team, which led Mercedes to present a high-performance limited production plug-in hybrid hypercar developed by AMG, heavily inspired by their F1 car. Lewis Hamilton also took part development of the car and tested the prototypes, as Mercedes had been teasing the AMG One since 2016. Only 275 units of the car will be made and already have been claimed and sold out at the base starting price of $2.7 million, which is highly expensive and remarkably deserves that price tag for what the car is. Here's why. The coolest thing about the AMG One is that the car is powered by an F1 engine in the back, straight from Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes AMG W07 hybrid F1 car from 2016, as confirmed by AMG. Features a highly integrated all-wheel drive powertrain with a modified 1.6-liter 90-degree turbo-aspirated V6 hybrid with 4 independent electric motors, 1 for each front wheel, 1 linked to the crankshaft, and 1 in the turbocharger itself. The internal combustion engine itself produces 748 brake horsepower, but in conjunction with quad electric motors, and a 2 battery pack that produce 4 times as much energy as the batteries found in the modern F1 cars, results in about 1,200 horses, as we're told. However, to meet the road legally regulations concerning idle RPM and redline apart from the F1 car, the engine is set to a 1,280 RPM and 11,000 RPM redline, which is incredible for an F1 inspired road car. The front axle electric motors are capable of 50,000 RPM alone, and selective torque distribution allows for extra high levels of vehicle dynamics and the elimination of turbo lag. That enables the AMG One hypercar to accelerate from 0 to 60 in less than 2.5 seconds and 0 to 124 miles per hour in under 6 seconds, and a blistering top speed of 217 miles per hour with an 8-speed single clutch automated manual gearbox. That is just stupid fast. Faster than almost any car on the road for its money, from an integrated world champion engine of Mercedes from the 2016 season. The best plug-in hybrid engine in an F1 back then homologated into a street car was challenging for Mercedes AMG to meet the road requirements. Mercedes even claimed that the AMG One is feasibly capable of being the fastest production car to lap around the Nürburgring in under 6 minutes, with no modifications, with the right tires, and some minimum weight shed from the car. That said, the AMG One will play an entirely different league apart from the AMG GT Black Series. The unique design of the AMG Hypercar shows an exterior design focusing on the aerodynamics of a modern F1 car. Every design detail has a specific benefit for the overall performance of the car. The AMG One is much like the spiritual successor of the AMG CLK GTR and the fastest car to roll out of the Mercedes factory. Numerous features of F1 inspirations are the large front air intakes that stretches across the entire width of the car to cool the brakes, the roof-mounted air scoop to cool the engine, combined the large aerodynamic shark fin tail expanding down the back end. The mechanical aero back wing and the fender flaps do deploy or retract depending on the driver mode selected, which we will get to that shortly. The butterfly doors are also cool, aluminum alloy and carbon fiber tinsport wheels with a center AMG logo. The AMG One rides on a Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires and has carbon ceramic brake discs that lie inside the rims. The cool mirrors do stand out like the Pagani Huayra and the huge AMG emblem smacked on the front bumper. The whole car is just beautiful in Mars red with smooth and sleek body lines, especially the headlights and taillights, the roof air intake that flows into the shark fin with the AMG logo, the rear end with exposing vents for engine airflow, race diffusers, and the race exhaust you see is pulled directly from the Mercedes F1 car. The interior in the AMG One is very digital inside, very futuristic, has amazing tech, lightweight yellow stitching bucket seats, and is extremely focused on the race car elements from F1. The first thing you'll notice is double 10-inch LCD screens with 2 AC vents, and an F1 steering wheel with all the buttons and controls right in front of the driver. A cool touch is the F1 shifting lights at the top, with some infotainment buttons and essentially the circle dial to select several driving modes. One of them is the pure EV mode that will allow drivers to cruise through a city town using silence power for a maximum of 15 miles. A range extender mode where the engine ignites just to charge the electric engine and the batteries. Maximum attack mode lets a driver pick up an extra hit of power at their own risk. When set to race mode, the car lowers the ride height and deploys the large front air louvers, arch fender flaps, and rear wing for full maximum downforce. The AMG One features great acceleration, braking, and decent cornering grip when taking it for a spin around the racetrack, although its full downforce limits its acceleration at higher speeds and tops out at 217 miles per hour. Change to aero mode, which tracks the air levers and the rear wing and raises the ride height to reduce drag, where the AMG gives greater acceleration at higher speeds and less handling and grip. So instead of top speed at 217 miles per hour, the AMG could go further to around 230 miles per hour, if not more, which is the Pagani Huayra's top speed, and that sounds groundbreaking from a German plug-in hybrid hypercar. The AMG is barely practical and doesn't have a trunk either, and honestly for this car, it makes a lot of sense. What more can you possibly want from a 1,200 horsepower rocket ship that transferred the latest and most efficient F1 hybrid tech from the track to the street for the first time? The AMG One is not only purposely built for just a tribute to Mercedes' success in F1 motorsports, but engineers dreaming of bringing the ultimate technology from the track to the streets. It's very interesting to have a car that's super fast and offers a race car vibes. With that said, the AMG One will be enabled to endeavor the lap times and annihilate the competition against other track-oriented hypercars neck to neck, the Aston Martin Valkyrie, Ferrari FXXK Evo, McLaren P1 GTR, and the McLaren Senna GTR. And these are not even street legal, besides the only exception is the Valkyrie, that is heavily influenced by F1 engineering as well. There are other hypercars that are much faster than the AMG One, of course, although it'll be the fastest street car from Mercedes with over 1,000 horsepower and a claimed top speed of 217 miles per hour. Hypercars like the Bugatti Chiron, Koenigsegg Jesko, and McLaren Speedtail are much faster than the AMG One. However, the AMG One isn't interested in a speed competition and built on the F1 powertrain for the track to blast around the corners at high speeds, while there are few cars that are a match for the AMG One. I think this is more than capable enough to compete and see the AMG One hypercar race in the hypercar class at Le Mans and the FIA WEC alongside Le Mans hypercars. But unfortunately, the AMG boss said that the AMG One won't compete in a race, which is kind of disappointing when this thing has so much potential being a hypercar racer. And it's been over 20 years since Mercedes last raced at Le Mans with the CLK GTR, and that for sure was a GT1 hypercar from its era. Maybe 2023 or 2024, we'll see. What do you guys think? So for those of you who are one of the 275 unlucky owners to spend $2.7 million to enjoy this exclusive package, for those of you who love and desire and to buy and drive the AMG One but already too late due to being sold out, I owe you some fun facts. For some of you who enjoy playing racing games, the AMG One is featured as a game car for Forza Horizon 5 and the first ever global racing game in the world from developer of Playground Games to feature the AMG One in it. And if you want to drive it, then at least you can virtually get your hands on a car and drive this hybrid beast in a game. And I forgot to mention during the review that the AMG One motor just sounds extraordinary and can't wait for this thing to finally release in real life this year in 2022. And so that's that. This is where we are going to end this car review of the Mercedes AMG One. And I hope you guys really did sit back, relax, and enjoy this epic video. And if you did, do not forget to click the subscribe button and hit that like button for some more upcoming car reviews. And as always, like I say every time, you are more than happy to give me any car suggestions to review in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the following video. Let's virtually walk to the Mercedes AMG One and get inside and put the keys into the ignition and press start and start the engine. And take this thing for a test drive around the track of Circuit Paul Ricard. Make sure to adjust your headphone volume for the epic F1 engine sound. Peace out, stay safe, Chris the Radar out.